Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Canal Days, what life was like in the industrial Connecticut River Valley. As always, I'm your host, Carrie, along with my co-host, founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Camus. Our Canal Days series explores historic sites throughout Massachusetts with Robert's expertise of the state's history as our personal guide. Each episode, we uncover pivotal historic locations or landmarks, delving into the seminal and monumental significance they hold within. Today's episode of Canal Days, we'll be perusing the St. Anne's Church in Chicopee, Massachusetts. So, can you clarify how the St. Anne's Church started?
In 1899, the St. Patrick's Church of South Hadley, Massachusetts, decided that they needed to start a mission church up in the Fairview neighborhood of Chicopee. That's because a lot of that neighborhood was being developed into a trolley neighborhood, and it was getting parishioners or people that were French Canadians going up there, and a little bit of Irish. So they realized that you better start a new religious institution up there. Now, a mission church, it means that it's not a church on its own, it's just an offshoot for the church that sponsors them. So it didn't even have a name yet. It only had a small chapel. And so for 13 years, it stayed in that state. It wasn't until the year 1912 that finally they could take on being its own church. Now, the church you see there now was built in that year to honor them, but it kept its chapel in the very back, and most people don't realize that.
And can you reveal why the pastor was instrumental in the startup of the church? In which?
Yes, he was very instrumental. His name was John Conway, and he was the pastor of the St. Patrick's Church in South Hadley. And he realized that the need for a mission church up at Fairview was quite necessary. And so for 13 years, he was the pastor of that mission church. And he was never the pastor of the church itself. So in 1912, when it went off on its own, it got its own pastor. But he was the founder of St. Anne's. Now, I have a picture of him that I have posted to findagrave.com for him, and I have a list of the many pastors after that. And so you can actually find John Conway's picture. Just as importantly, you can find his gravestone. If you go to the St. Rose Cemetery in South Hadley, you'll find within there a priest circle, and he is the only priest or pastor buried within it. John Conway has a beautiful Irish cross for his gravestone, and on it tells you that he was the pastor of St. Patrick's. Now, he would die up in, I believe, Greenfield area, and it was due, I think, to a contagious disease like tuberculosis. So sadly, he was doing all this great work, and his life was taken from him. So the church that he made up, though, prospered, and he got a great series of pastors after that, and it became a really fine church.
And stick around, because we will be right back after these few words from our sponsors. Are you fascinated by local history and eager to investigate the obscure treasures off the beaten path around Massachusetts? Or maybe just seeking an unforgettable cultural activity for family and friends to enjoy? Look no further than Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, founded by Robert Camus. With over a decade of experience, Robert offers captivating tours and presentations of historic sites and landmarks throughout the state. Whether you're interested in canals, cemeteries, charming churches, or more, Robert's tours provide a unique and enriching experience for all. And that's not it. You can also schedule private tours tailored to your interests, ensuring a personalized adventure and unforgettable memories. Perfect for families or groups of all sizes, making for an exciting hands-on learning experience that brings history to life. Simply visit HolyokeCanalTour.org or email bobcat4214 capital B at yahoo.com to book your private tour today. But wait, there's more. Don't miss out on Robert's podcast and video series, Canal Days, where you can dive even deeper into the vital history of the Connecticut River Valley. Plus, for those who may not be local or would rather enjoy on the go or from the comfort of their home, Canal Days brings the adventure right to your screen. So don't miss out. Uncover the pivotal past with the historical tours of Greater Holyoke to make memories that will last a lifetime. Remember to log on to HolyokeCanalTour.org for more information and secure your personalized experience today. Welcome back to our Canal Days episode of the St. Anne Church. And can you describe the neighborhood around the St. Anne Church?
It's a trolley neighborhood. Now, I know you don't believe that because it doesn't look that way. Willimantic and Alderville are trolley neighborhoods, and they have that look to it, a long straight road with a developed core along the road, with churches and institutions along the road. Now here, you hardly know this. It wasn't the most successful of trolley neighborhoods. Charles Abbey of Chicopee started to get it going. Now, the trolley ran from Holyoke over the bridge to Solly Falls, up towards St. Patrick's Church, and then reverse direction, went all the way along Main Street onto Bolton Street in South Hadley still, and then cut into the woods. And it didn't come back out until it came to the top of Britton Street. That actually made it a less steep angle so it could make up that hill. And then on Britton Street, it went all the way in the direction towards the St. Anne's Church, and there it bear to the left and go into the neighborhoods beyond. And it didn't stop its journey until it reached the cemetery called Sons of Zion. And so the area in front of and behind towards the left of the St. Anne's Church is a trolley neighborhood. Now, if you pick out some of the homes, some of them are actually fairly old, like 1900 homes. And those were built along the trolley path. So, it's a trolley church, and some of the pastors in the very beginning had special masses just for trolley users. They actually put stories in the newspaper and said, come to our church, take this trolley. At this time, we'll have a special mass. Incredible. They'd even have masses, joint masses between St. Patrick's Church and St. Anne's Church, where the parishioners of one could visit the other church and have a mass there. An incredible system. But it doesn't have that nucleus like Alderville might have and other trolley neighborhoods might have.
And recall a few of the other pastors of the church throughout the years.
Okay, now the founder might have been John Conway, but the first pastor ever of St. Anne was a person named John O'Connell. And he stayed around from 1912 into 1919. Then came Victor Epinard, who stayed around for 6 years, and he was the one that actually started getting people to take a pilgrimage up to his church. And he made it once a month, the third Sunday in the month, to try to get people to come from other areas on the trolley. And it worked because St. Anne's grew and grew in size. Now, the fourth pastor stayed the longest of all, and that was Leon Rutty, 1928 to 1944. Now, the sixth pastor, Edward Othier, he had, remember, there was an old chapel in back of this church. And in 1965, I believe, he wanted that chapel taken down and a modern addition on the back of the church put into place. So this is a church which has a front and back where the congregation can look from either direction. Very rare in a church. And yes, it happened, and that old chapel was taken down after 60 years or so of use. And I know Edward Othier well because he was the pastor that baptized me. And a lot of my sisters too. But a couple of my sisters were buried by the next pastor, William Breen. And then for most of my life, including the person that confirmed me into the Catholic religion was Francis Sullivan. He was about the 9th pastor there. He stayed for 12 years. So I've made a grid of all these pastors and where they were buried and what years they served in.
And thanks for listening to Canal Days and our episode on the St. Anne Church in Chicopee, Massachusetts, and for joining us on our journey through the rich history of the Connecticut River Valley. We hope you enjoyed uncovering some of the hidden and overlooked marvels and their fascinating stories that shaped our past in the state of Massachusetts. A special thanks to Robert Camus, founder of the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, for sharing his passion and expertise with us. Remember, you can find out more information about Robert's tours, book private tours, and explore the Canal Days video and podcast series at holyokecanaltour.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, keep exploring and discovering the history that surrounds us. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune into our next episode of Canal Days on the Catholic Cemeteries of Springfield, Massachusetts.